What are,
Yeah.
so where are you seeing most of your sales come from?
I would say, oh, this is another exciting thing. So, you know, you have retailers that, you know, like your product and then they want to sell your product. So as I was speaking to a retailer the other day, he said, he owns a couple of stores in South Florida, and he said, why don't you call my sales guy, because I think you guys should, you know, meet. And I called him, and then he put me in touch with somebody who is now our boots on the ground, like our devoted salesperson.
Oh, wow.
It's been fantastic because now, you know, I knew that I wanted to not only focus on online sales, but eventually start to focus on like getting into retail locations, because that's very important.
Sure.
But that happens it happened much sooner than I thought it would. So it happened like last month, and now so we're getting a lot of interest. I say that to say we're getting a lot of interest from retailers and distributors in the United States, pretty much up the East Coast. The other day, I had a really interesting order that came through from a woman who owns a venture capital firm in California. And she's like, I would love to order some wine. I'm having a virtual event. Would you give me a call, please? So I spoke to her, and I put this together maybe 2 weeks ago. So she heads up this VC firm. All of the on the board are women, and these women are powerful, high-powered businesswomen. And so she wanted to, with our rosé, send every single one of those ladies a bottle of our wine. And so it was about 63 bottles, and it had to go to addresses. And I was speaking to her on Wednesday night, and it had to be at everyone's house by Tuesday. So it's just coming from different locations.
Oh my goodness.
Interesting things, but I think what people appreciate more than anything is the personal approach, personal touch.
Mm-hmm.
I've spoken to them and they're like, oh my gosh, you really own this? Or are you like a representative? You really own this? So, I mean, that's exciting because there's a level of just ease with working with alcohol that in fashion, there's a different attitude, you said. You can that, you know, and so I just like to keep everything approachable and simple. So it's really coming from retailers as well as our email market, you know, to people, and we're getting there.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, something that we like to ask people is, what does wine mean to you? Because it's important to us. Like, it means about connection and celebrations and just really connecting with other people. But what does it mean to you?
You took the words out of my mouth. Like, for me, like anytime I think of, whenever I'm drinking, it's always time where I'm celebrating, or I'm just sitting down with those that I love or I care about, you know? So that's what comes to mind when I think about special occasions, special moments, you know? And like I said, I've never been somebody who's like a heavy drinker, but when I do drink, it's always something that I want to either try something new, or it's something that I know, and I love it. You know, I love the flavor. It brings back great memories. And so that's the kind of focus that I've given the brand. I want it to be special. And even if you're home and you're drinking by yourself, you know, you buy a bottle of our wine, oh, wow, it looks like somebody put some energy and effort into it, the presentation, you know, and you enjoy the actual product, and then you may keep the bottle, you know? So that's the experience that I really want to create with the brand.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you have any other questions?
Cracking me up with some of your reviews.
Really?
Last year when I was going to the wineries, I didn't also understand that there were so many people in this business. You know, like it's a lot of, right now it seems to be like a celebrity driven industry to be in. So you're a celebrity, you have So I was watching some of your reviews, and you guys were cracking me up. Oh my
God. We don't have poker faces at all. No. So we just have to be 100% honest.
It's so funny. I won't say which one, but I was like, oh, okay. Like, oh, do I want to, you know, is that a good idea? And what if they don't like it? But I was like, you know what? People are going to try the wine. So why not make these connections and meet people? There are probably about 10 other people that I saw that I really kind of enjoyed their reviews. And I didn't even know this was a thing, you know? Like, YouTube became a very big thing for me last year. I was like, oh, all this
awesome
on YouTube. And so I found you guys, I think you guys were maybe the first people I found. It was hilarious.
Oh.
But I saw all of these celebrities in this space. And it was interesting watching, you know, them do the interviews and then watching the reviews, you know? And so you guys were doing a review on a celebrity brand. And I was like, oh my God, this is hilarious.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's funny when we tell people that we have a YouTube channel, and especially people at work, and they're like, oh, we're gonna check it out, and we're like, okay.
So how did you guys start this?
Yeah.
How did you guys start this?
So we are coworkers. We work at an advertising agency. So during COVID, like we've always loved wine, loved going to wineries. We just like meeting new people. I feel like in our one post, what wine means to us, like I loved when a glass of wine was poured and you're sitting at a bar and you have a conversation with a stranger and you connect. And it's just so great. So like during COVID, we missed that. And we were like, well, how can we connect with people and like still have like a good time when like we're shut down?
Yeah.
And luckily, like we were still going to work. So like we were quarantined together like for months. So we were like, well, might as well do something.
That is brilliant. Have you guys been together for a long time?
Yeah, I think
What she said? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, have we known each other for a long time?
Yeah, I was actually her husband's coworker, and then I got a job with her. So we've known each other for like 5
or 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knows. I'm like, oh my gosh. They're like, that's so funny that you guys are like, it was like, are they sisters or not sisters? Maybe they're little kittens. You guys are like hilarious.
Oh,
I always say that Shannon and I are always like share a brain.
yeah, we think very similar.
Oh, great. No, you seem like you guys really enjoy it. And I was like, oh, there's this whole world out here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, we definitely love it.
and I think the most interesting thing about wine is just you, as a consumer, I feel like a lot of consumers just sit down, they drink the wine and they decide if they like it or not. But what I find so interesting is that so much goes into making wine. Like there's different winemaking processes and there's different ways to make the wine taste a certain way. And that like science behind it is so fascinating. So when we're at wineries talking to winemakers or people who work at the winery, they're like, oh yeah, we tried this and it worked out.
Yeah,
and
the one
it's
guy
so
with the
cool.
soil,
Yeah,
like put stuff in the soil to make wine better.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
there's so much that goes into it.
So much that far more than I had. I didn't have a clue how much into it. And it's really interesting to watch a lot of the family-owned wineries, many of which we work with, the ones that we work with are family-owned. Some of them have really kind of the one I was telling you about, the massive assembly line, where it's like so few people on the floor, but they're literally machines moving stuff and bottling stuff and cleaning. It's just very science fiction-y, you know, but they're servicing. So this place in particular, each line did like 15,000 bottles in an hour, you know, of whatever product. And that just one assembly line, they had like 10. It was incredible. But it's very interesting to watch how these wineries have passed generation to generation. And a lot of these generations are now being taken on by people that are kind of young, you know, and so they're learning the ropes. And even the enologist in one of the wineries that we're working with, the enologist's father used to work with the parents of the winery before. It's incredible just to watch how it all works. But at the same time, because there are now different processes in terms of how to make the wine, standard, ecological, organic, they are now partnering with other groups of people. So it's a cooperative now, you know, so they can keep everything purely standard, purely ecologically, purely, you know, organic in terms. So it's fascinating, just the business of it, you know, both from the product production standpoint all the way to the, you know, just dealing with the certification is fascinating. And I'm really enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would, you know.
That's awesome.
So it's exciting, you know.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I know one of the things that I find in Maryland happens, like there's, of course, like you're in the same business, so there's a little competition, but in Maryland, what I see is a lot of winemakers don't really see it as competition, and they are constantly having, like, I think there's a women winemakers meetings in Maryland, and they're all cooperating and collaborating with one another. And I love that. I love that the wine industry is so like, let's work together, even though we are in a competition, but we can work together to make each other better.
That's what I love. That's what
Love
I love
it.
about this. If that, you know, fashion tends to not be so, let's kumbaya, let's just say that, you know, it's very like,
Yeah.
but I also didn't realize that the wine industry was really primarily run by women from the business side of it, you know. The production side is still very masculine, male driven, but in terms of the selling and, you know, the market, all of that stuff is really women. In the United States, it's primarily women driving this. And I was actually speaking to a gentleman the other day in America, and he was like, I'm not getting involved in it anymore. I'm moving out of wine because it's all women. I have no like possibility of like making a difference. He's half kidding, but half, you know, he's like, it's all you women, you guys. And I'm like, well, you know.
We know what we like.